We have one more very important interview. Randall Gressett joining us right now, Chief Revenue Officer for Cumberland Group.
Well, thank you very much for having me. The day has been absolutely fabulous. It's a great topic. We've been a sponsor of TAG for many, many years. I think this is a great topic, although not your traditional technology topic. It's one that is incredibly important.
Yep.
And very, very current with some of the issues that we've seen here recently across the country.
No question.
So this topic is very pertinent, not only to the Atlanta market, but certainly to us as a country.
So talk to me, I'm going to get into some of the details of that with you, but before we do that, just talk to me a little bit about Cumberland Group, what you guys do, and why support TAG and all of that.
Great, you bet. So Cumberland Group is 19 years old, based here in Atlanta, Georgia, founded by two Georgia Tech graduates, so it definitely has roots here in the Atlanta market.
Yep.
We are an IT consulting company. At the end of the day, what we're focused on is helping our customers achieve their business or organizational outcomes using technology as the enabler for that. So it really is about achieving goals for our customers, and it's very much a service, high-touch based business for us. So our people, at the end of the day, are our product.
So you're primarily doing things like helping your clients with system selection and migrating from one system to another, or implementation, those kinds of things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And typically customers are trying to either increase revenue,
right,
maybe reduce costs.
Oh, those are all good things.
But also improve an experience.
Yeah.
And so all of those things can be enabled leveraging technology.
So let's talk about sort of this diversity and inclusion piece, which we've been talking about all day. Obviously, as you mentioned, an important theme for the conference, and not a traditional theme for a tech conference, but very timely. You mentioned that for Cumberland Group, the product really is the people. So obviously, you guys have to do almost like a better job than your clients at the outset of having a diverse workforce, diversity of thought, all of those kinds of things. How are you attacking that as a group?
So number one, we're interviewing constantly, and we're trying to make sure that we're casting a net extremely wide and extremely broad. At the end of the day, we're competing head-to-head, not only with our customers sometimes, but also our direct competitors.
Yeah.
One of the main things that we try to do is create an experience when prospects come into our office. Everything from touring the office to hearing the history of the company. We don't get right into behavioral questioning. We really want them to come in and experience the office, meet the people, see who they'll be working with, and then we'll get into learning more about them. So, we really want them to interview us, and we really want to sell them on us, and then we'll begin to interview them. But we want them excited about us before we even begin to find out if they're going to be a fit. So
now, Randall, are your consultants going out to client sites and spending months and months at a client site, or are they sort of going back and forth, more frequently, or what's the setup like from that perspective?
So we have both models.
Okay.
We have two types of services. We have a technology-oriented service, and we have an advisory-oriented service. The technology-oriented services tend to be shorter duration, but we do end up in a very customer-facing role.
Okay.
The advisory services are ones where we really need to get to know our customer. So we tend to be on their premises for long periods of time. It could be a month, it could be a year, it could be a year plus.
The reason I asked that question, I'm sure my audience is going like, well, what does that matter? Well, the reason I asked that is because I'm thinking about sort of corporate culture and diversity from that perspective, and thinking if I'm somebody who comes in and chooses to work for Cumberland Group and I like your culture, but then you're sending me out to a client and I'm there for a year and that culture isn't quite up to snuff, how does that impact me as somebody, as an employee, and a contractor?
That's a great question, and it's actually something that we face every day. Because if you were to walk into our office, it's a beautiful facility. It's very modern, very contemporary, very collaborative. It's right across the street from the new SunTrust Park. From the 16th floor, we literally can look right into the stadium.
Sweet.
So it is a gorgeous place to work.
Yeah.
And when I said earlier that we really want people to tour the office because they're like, I want to work here.
Yeah.
So we catch them quick. And it also creates an environment where they want to be there, which is really positive. But it also creates a pretty high bar for our customers' environments because They get used to where we are.
Yeah.
And so we try to make sure that when we work with our customers, we pick customers that fit our model. We have a joke internally that we will fire a customer if they don't meet the bar. Now you really don't like to do that often.
Sure.
You want to work with them to say, hey, these are the things that we can help you with to improve your collaboration and improve your experience on your premises and bring what we can to them. But
Yeah.
it's a great question, and it's actually the first time I've had someone ask me that, but it's one that we talk about internally because our employees want to come to our office.
Yeah.
Because it's that type of environment. It's inclusive, it's collaborative, it's highly enabled, and it's why we have a very, very low attrition rate.
Well, one of the things we've been talking about all day, Randall, is this idea of sort of not just the bring in the right people, but retaining them. And so that's kind of, I think, where that question came from for me. But, that retention is often a lot about communication. So whether or not somebody is sitting in your office or they're across town or across the country, even at a client site, what are you guys doing to sort of facilitate that ongoing communication so that contractor, that consultant still feels like they are heard and they have avenues to communicate and they are part of your culture?
Right. Great question. So one of the solutions that we work with is a practice that we call collaboration. So think of it as digital communication. And so we drink our own champagne when it comes to digital communication.
Not Kool-Aid, mind you.
No, it's definitely champagne because we set a very high bar. And so we use that tool. So we have Cisco WebEx Teams as an example. So we have team rooms. We use video extensively. I host a weekly call with almost 50 of our employees, and video is mandatory because we are remote. We're all over the Southeast, and we want everybody to be on board and on the video. We do monthly company roundtables. So we believe communication in multiple forms is critical. It can be face-to-face, it can be video, it can be via a team room, it can be via traditional email, although that's actually going by the wayside, which is pretty amazing for me, having been in IT so long.
Yeah.
Email's really not that popular anymore.
Yeah.
But we try to use all of those types of communication to reach our customers and our employees and have people feel like they're a part of the business, whether you're in the office or you're somewhere remote.
One of the things before I let you go is just that the sort of terminology around today's event was that inclusion drives innovation. You guys are obviously in the business of trying to help your customers innovate, obviously as it relates to their own businesses, but how do you feel like inclusion does drive that?
It really is the idea of diverse ideas. And when you have people that, again, diversity comes from so many different areas. It can be age, it can be race, it can be gender, it can be thought, etc. And when you bring those views from that wide audience, it just causes more creativity. It brings more creativity out of each person that's a member of that team. And that's why we think it's so critical. And I feel like we do a good job. We can always do a better job. But when you look at our workforce, we're very diverse when it comes to people's backgrounds, both socioeconomically, education background, race, gender, etc. I think we have a great representation of that. And our teams work really effectively together. And it's a very tight-knit group of people. Our culture is very much a family-oriented culture. And I think that our focus on inclusion and diversity really drives that.
Well, I need to come to the office and check that out for myself.
I think you should.
Randall, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and for being here and supporting TAG and the 2019 Converge event. We greatly appreciate it.